Hello everyone, welcome back to Indiana Kayak Fishing Journal. Today is Monday, November the 20th. I am out in Northwest Indiana. I'm gonna do some steelhead fishing today. I'm gonna be throwing my spinner like I always do. I'm gonna be covering as much water as humanly possible and hopefully get a couple of fish. Stay tuned, we'll see how it goes. Well, that's not a trout, but interesting. It's a pretty little fish, actually. When I saw it coming, I was hoping that was a brown trout. Yes. Yes. Look at that spinner right in the yap. Nice little fish. Not a bad one. That's about an average fish. I'll take it. Shit. Haven't really seen much today so far. Feels good to be on the board. Get a nice little fish. Skunk. Just gonna be easy to unhook. Jeez, they're such a neat fish. I love coming up here to do this. Nice little chrome fish. Got a nice little steelhead here. First one of the day. Haven't really seen a whole lot going on. Haven't seen more than just maybe one other fish besides this one. So it seems pretty quiet. I saw this fish just sitting in front of a log jam on the bottom. So I very quietly snuck into position. I was kind of, okay, how do I need to cast to get this in front of her? First cast, made the cast, saw the fish, immediately noticed the spinner, comes racing over and grabs it right in front of the log jam. Pretty cool take. I'll show you the fish here real quick. This is an average sized little steelhead out of the creek here. You know, not a real big one. Probably a couple pounder. 24 inches long maybe. Nice little fish though, I'm very glad to have it. Beautiful fish. All right, let's get it released. There she goes, back into her spot. I wanted to interrupt the video to give you 5 good tips for catching winter steelhead with spinners. So my first tip, and I know I've covered this before, is always move upstream whenever possible. So these fish are always sitting facing into the current, and the best way for you to approach them is from behind, because that's going to give them the least likelihood of seeing you coming and spooking before you ever get a chance at them. So you always want to move upstream whenever possible. The second tip is you want to move slowly and methodically. Now this is extremely important, as you saw with that first fish. Because I was moving slowly and just kind of scanning the water as I went, I was able to spot that fish in the first clip before it saw me, and then I was able to sneak into position and make a good cast and catch it on my very first cast. If I had just been going upstream fast and crashed right into there, odds are I would have spooked that fish and I never would have had a chance at it. So you want to move as slowly and methodically as possible, read the water, and just do the best you can to not just blow through spots and spook fish. You want to cover as much water as humanly possible in a day, so you just want to keep moving. These fish typically, as long as they are not pressured, are going to bite within the first 5 casts through a spot. It's not like you have to beat the water to death to get them to bite. You don't have to cast 15 or 20 times into one pool. Usually 4, 5, 6 casts into a really good looking spot is sufficient to cover it, and then just move on to the next spot. You want to cover as much water as you can, so you contact as many fish as possible and then hit as many good spots as you possibly can. What you're looking for when you're moving up these creeks is any spot where you cannot see the bottom is a place that you want to fish for sure. There's 3 different reasons why you might not be able to see the bottom. The water just might be too deep and the clarity is not enough to be able to see the bottom. So any deep spot is always a good spot for winter steelhead. Another reason you might not be able to see the bottom is overhead cover. So logs or things in the water that prevent you from seeing what's underneath them is a great place for those winter steelhead to hide. So you want to fish those very methodically as well. And then any place where there's some riffle on the water, where the water's a little bit faster moving, you want to target those spots as well, because the fish like moving water. They do not like dead water. So definitely target any place that has moving water. When you're fishing these spinners, you want to fish the spinners as slowly as possible. Usually you achieve that by casting either slightly upstream of where you're at or directly across the stream. That's going to allow the spinner to move as slowly as possible while keeping the blade spinning. That's key to catching these fish, especially in the wintertime when they're not as aggressive because the water temps are just too cold. So you just want to move that spinner as slowly as possible while keeping the blade spinning. And like I said, the best way to achieve that is casting straight across the creek and then letting the spinner kind of swing with the creek and the little bit of current that there is through those creeks. And then the last tip that I have is definitely carry multiple colors or styles of spinners with you while you're fishing. There are a lot of times where a fish will come up and take a swipe at a spinner and he won't get it, but then they won't come back to try to get it again. So a lot of times the best way to entice those fish to come back and bite again is by switching colors or styles of spinners. Just even switching from the identical spinner to an identical spinner with a different color can get those fish to come back and bite, like you'll see in this next clip. So that's why I always have a snap swivel on my line so that I can change spinners really quickly when I'm on the water, so I can have a second chance or a third chance at some of these fish that you see over the course of the day. Those are my 5 tips. I know that they're going to help you guys catch more winter steelhead. Come on, fish. Of course, that fish absolutely annihilated the spinner on the next cast right after my battery died. I cast, my battery died, I was pulling it across, bam, there he is, giant fish. He took me right into a log jam, and I barely got him. I'm actually wrapped up underneath something underneath there. The fish floated back out as he was getting tired, and I managed to grab him and net him. He's sitting right there. There's a spinner right in his mouth. Unreal though. This is a mess. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like I said, my line is underneath this log jam somewhere, and then he came back out the other side and I was able to get him. Got a new battery in the camera, so at least I'll get some pictures and some video of this thing. It is a beautiful fish and it's pretty big. Let's get him unhooked. Yeah, look at that spinner right in his mouth. Jeez, that was nuts. I cannot believe that happened. That sucks that my camera died right before that too. This is a beautiful fish. What a crazy battle. Unfortunately, camera was dead right before this fish hit, but this is a really spectacular fish, so let me show it to you real quick. Oh, easy does it. Look at that nice male steelhead. That thing is just spectacular. Still just in shock that that even happened the way it did. This thing is just so pretty. Look at that fish. My goodness. I screwed around with this guy enough. Let's go ahead and get him released. Gosh dang, that is a spectacular fish. I just cannot get over how cool that fish is. Oh my gosh. He's not a giant, but he's good size, better than average. There he goes, back into his hole. Oh my gosh. Look at this sycamore tree. That's just spectacular. Just downright huge. There's a steelhead right there. Got her. Big old female. Dang. And that spinner just absolutely buried in her mouth. She's hooked just absolutely perfectly. All right, fish number 3 for today. It's an old, probably summer run fish. You can tell by how worn some of the fins are on the bottom of it. For some reason, the summer run fish, that's a pretty good characteristic of them, besides being long and skinny. Nice looking fish. Well, that's going to do it for the video today. It ended up being a really good day steelhead fishing, as my friend here can attest to. I'm taking this Skamania home to make me a nice meal. Like I said, caught 3 fish. Unfortunately, I didn't get that big male on camera. The battery died literally seconds before that fish grabbed the lure, which is just unfortunate. I hate when that happens, but sometimes it just happens that way. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you to everybody who likes, comments, subscribes, shares these videos. I really appreciate it. I'll see you guys on the next one.